Oh, she did it.
I was waiting. I was like, yeah, I want to try it. Okay.
Hey, welcome to High Heels Happy Hours is what we call Happy Heels High Hour.
I set the tone. See that? She was really surprised that I did that.
Yes. Yeah, we said last time that maybe Ingrid needs to do the vignettes, since I'm always the one saying, get there. Anyway, she did it.
Love it.
How are you?
You know, this week I'm okay.
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 Just okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay to just be. Or I like when you say it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and that's a little bit what we're going to talk about. I'm good. Actually, well, I guess I'm okay. I just dropped my firstborn off. I see I had a thread coming out. Firstborn off at college this weekend. And that was tough. I mean, great, fun, all good things. He loves it. It's great roommates, all that. But selfishly, no, I'm very sad. But that's the way, you work so hard for them or encourage them to do great in school so they can go to college. And then when they go to college, you're like, man, I wish he wasn't so smart.
But the good thing is that you've prepared them. You really
no, he's independent. He's going to do great. But it's I had to do by myself too, since we have a high schooler who doesn't drive yet. Hubby had to stay on, so I felt very much like the single. I understand how single parents do it now. It's hard, but we did. We went to the IKEA. We did all the assembly. We did it all. Got him unpacked and ready. Even organized. Where do the socks go? It's good
for now.
And then there were some tears, but I held it together pretty well. Cried a little at the end when we had to say goodbye. But
love it. Okay, so what is your life hack?
Oh, this one I am so excited because I love Pinterest. I'm obsessed with Pinterest, especially when it comes to recipes. For those of you that follow the show, you know that I love to cook, and I do have a lot of recipes that I download. I find online, and it's a hassle when you try to print them out because they always come with ads, and there's like some of them. It's just you have to print like 7 pages, even though try to open it in browser. It's just it gets a lot of messiness. So I found this website called justtherecipe.com. There will be a link in the show notes. And when you put in, so you copy the URL of the recipe online that you want this page you found, and then you put it into a search bar in justtherecipe.com, and they will give you a clean version of the recipe that's only the recipe, no ads, no clutter. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but it was like a gift from above to me. Like, you know exactly how I feel. So I am so excited. JustTheRecipe.com.
Love it, love it. I don't print them because it has all that stuff. And then you kind of copy and paste, and then it comes all distorted.
And I do keep them on my phone, but sometimes and I like to make notes on the recipes, like who liked it, and I always add, I can't follow recipes, so I add my own stuff, maybe take away something. I can't do that on Pinterest. So I like to print it.
Love it. So.
Yes. So we're going to get a little serious.
Well, no, I got to read my hack first.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. She got so excited over the recipe that she just forgot about mine. So before making a big decision, think of the word HALT. HALT. That means make sure that you're not hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. When you make a decision.
And sometimes when you make decisions on food, you're all of the above.
Yes, you're hangry.
You're angry.
So,
you're not hungry,
angry, lonely,
lonely,
or tired. There's a difference between alone and lonely.
Yes.
So it's the whole sadness concept of lonely.
Yeah, that leads so well into
I know. I was so excited.
Yeah.
So we mentioned in our last episode that we were going to go into mental health because it's mental health awareness. However, it's a little bit different. It's actually suicide.
It is not. Yeah, it's not mental health awareness. We were wrong in September. It's suicide awareness.
Yes,
which is a
form of
mental health. Definitely stems from mental health, but and it's also we're into this fall reset. We talked about fun fitness. We talked about health reset last week. We're on this kick right now.
Yeah.
So now we're going to our mental stage,
which is very, very dear to me, and I deal with it myself. So I'm always trying to, not trying, but just getting new ideas on how to make this process easier for myself, and just talk to other people about it, because it's what people have a misconception on, that it's just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
And mental health is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
There's always something that can, trigger a feeling or trauma. So there's always something.
Yeah, just like working out is not, you cannot just go for 1 week and then you're done for the rest of your life.
Can you imagine?
It isn't. Yeah, that'd be boring. So much time. What are we going to do with it? No, but it's something you need to work on an ongoing basis. Yeah.
With everything, even with what we talked about for the health reset, you have to give yourself, have that consistent effort. Because, it's not, what do you do if you don't work out 5 days?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself that self-compassion and patience.
Oops, sorry. Banged into her chair.
It's hitting me. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to go over a couple tips that I found, and I listened to podcasts, I did some reading. So these are all kind of my favorites. So you can more than happy to chime in and let me know what you think.
I usually have opinions. I don't know if you notice.
I'm not surprised. So I'm going to start off with self-reflection and assessment. And this is something that a lot of individuals that I've worked with, have talked with, are not honest on where they feel. Or they feel, honestly, to say what they're thinking is not okay, or it's not safe to say. And I think that's really important for you to be honest on exactly how you feel and where you are mentally.
Yeah.
Because sometimes just saying, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, you're really great. You're not great. You're okay. Or I'm just really horrible.
Yeah.
Knowing that starting point on, this is where I am right now, but this is where I wish to be.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to start where you truly are than setting a false expectation.
Yeah.
So
that's a good start.
Good start.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think it's we like to fool ourselves, I think, sometimes.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. They say if you tell yourself something so many times, you actually believe it.
Yeah.
It's whether it's good or bad. So the next one is set clear goals. So when managing, this is really good when you're managing your stress or managing something you've gone through. Some people might go through the same thing and be okay in a couple of days. Whereas someone that, for instance, like when you dropped off Thea, some parents might be like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And then...
No, I don't think any parents say that.
Well, I've heard some.
Yeah, no.
And then
maybe with the last kid, you're like,
woohoo! but you may deal with it differently.
Yeah.
So it's setting that expectation that it's managing the stress, improving self-esteem. Everything takes time and realistic time. It's not.
So what do you mean with the setting of the goals? How do you go about that?
So a couple of the things is cultivating healthy relationships. be intentional on what you do, what you surround yourself with. If your, let's say, mental health is on,
No, but I'm sorry, but I'm backing you up. You said set clear goals. What is a good mental health goal? Like, how do you define?
So, for instance, like I do my goals kind of daily. I do my check-in.
Okay.
Let's say I get really sad when I drive this way or that way. It's really simple. It's just driving by somewhere. So I take a different route.
Okay.
So realistically, every time I go by this place, I feel this certain way.
Okay.
So maybe having a detour or knowing that something that hurt you is going to take time to heal. So don't expect yourself to be,
okay. So,
over something a lot sooner because
so
somebody else does.
With college drop off, I should say the goal should be that I, within X amount of time, should have no issues going by his empty bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Because at the beginning, you might sit on his bed and just be like,
I haven't done that by just for directly. I've not done that.
But it's just, realistic, and it could, with everything that happens, mental health actually triggers other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, being just, I think the more or less setting clear goals for me means that just, be able to define what your goal is to heal.
Yeah. So today it will be a win if I get to do this here, or if I get to that point where I can do this thing that I want to do, but haven't been able to.
Yes.
Okay.
And this we've talked about quite a bit is prioritize self-care.
Yes.
Self-care is so important, whether it's physical, emotional, and again, mental well-being.
Yeah, and all of this reset, all of the health we talk about, it's all about self-care, right? You got to care for yourself, care about yourself. Otherwise, everything falls apart.
Yes, usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I know you will, but bad food, junk food, is a form of comfort when you're stressed.
Of course, yeah, it's easier to indulge in when you haven't slept.
Yeah,
talked about that too. And yeah, absolutely. We turn to.
It tastes so good.
Like
it's
palatable. Yes.
Wow. And again, these are all my favorites. So every single one, I'm going to tell you this is good because I picked it. So, anyways.
But the self-care, it could be, I love. It doesn't just have to be pampering and spa days. It could be working out. Those are great too. But I don't know. I mean, they're great every now and then. Yes, of course. Getting a facial is great, but I'm not one that needs like a full spa day that often.
No, but even like you said, sleep, food, anything that you're
doing something you enjoy.
Yes.
Watching. Oh, so can I just personal anecdote? Okay, so my husband's out of town this week, which means I binged on Housewives last night. That's a form of just me sitting down watching Housewives.
But that makes you happy.
Make me very happy.
See?
Their misery made me very... No, just kidding. But no, it was fun.
That's a perfect example.
He might have not wanted to do that, but since I was by myself, I could do that. That was the self-care.
I love it. And I also have here mindfulness. One of the things I've learned to do is really enjoy the sun. I'm really low on vitamin D, so there's a story behind it. But
can you hear all the thunder outside? I hope that's coming through the mic. We have some weather outside.
We'll see. So close your eyes and let the sun hit, and just for a second, 10 seconds, just be still.
Yeah,
and just don't think of anything, which is very difficult for me. Is really, really nice.
So if all the people here in Florida did that, Florida would be a less crazy state. Because you know, we have a lot of sun, and if everyone just worked on some personal self-care and mindfulness and went out and quietly appreciated the sun for a few minutes, we would all be super zen-like.
We'd be happy states.
Yes. Then it wouldn't be a man from Florida was caught. Boop, 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 boop.
All right. Next is professional support. Now, this is, I don't know if it's I think it's underrated. You know, with therapists,
Absolutely.
psychiatrists, and a lot of people relate them to medication. You can easily pay someone, you paying for someone to listen to you.
Yeah.
Which is the best money I've spent in a long time. I'm like, I pay you for you to just for me to just dump the stuff I'm thinking. I think it's brilliant.
That's good.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it is
and
good.
Some of us might need medication. I'm not here. I'm not a doctor, obviously. You know, if you do, then you make that decision. But having someone besides a friend just to be able to just say exactly what you're feeling and thinking is so key. And especially when you have those intrusive thoughts, which I've talked about before, it is the most relieving thing to know that those intrusive thoughts are actually okay.
Yeah.
You know, as we grow up, people say, "Oh, don't think that way." Like, how could you think that way?
Yeah.
And the stigma begins to, that's not how I'm supposed to think.
Yeah.
But when you understand that it does happen, then you're able to deal with it a little different. So professional help, counselors, all that is awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma around it, but I think the stigma is getting less and less. I do think now when you have this kind of telehealth and there are,
it's a lot easier.
It's a lot more accessible. I think too, a lot of people think they can't afford it or they don't, prioritize that. But I think with these kind of online services, it's gotten easier. No, I think it would be. I have never gone myself, but I wouldn't hesitate if I felt like I needed it. And also, most people vent to someone.
Yeah.
And some people that really should go and pay someone to listen. Maybe they just share too much and too often with others.
Maybe you should just start saying at the end of the conversation, "Here's your invoice."
Yeah. Maybe.
But talking about price, so a little tidbit when you go to mental health, because it's mental health is a piece of healthcare that is usually either not covered, depending on what you're dealing with.
Okay.
It's always cash.
Yeah.
Pretty much, depending on what you're using it, what part of mental health care you're using it for, it's usually cash. So always ask if the therapist or the office would offer or could offer a scaled price.
Okay, that's good to know.
Especially when it comes to that, because it's not something that's going to be one and done.
Yeah.
It's going to be a session.
Yeah, but it's just like going to a gym. That's not free or covered by insurance either most of the time. Or getting a massage. Or most of the time, if you don't have dental insurance, which I don't have, going to the dentist is not covered either. It's a cash payment.
Yes.
But it's as important as taking care of any other body part of yourself.
It is, but a lot of people don't. It's scary. That first initial, step is so scary, but know that there are scaled prices. They are, if you think you need to go once a month, 4 times, sometimes people go twice a week.
Yeah.
That can easily add up.
Yeah. No, that's good
but
to ask for that.
Yes.
And I will say, I think in the US, I'm sure certain states I'm sure in California, everyone, it's completely, there's no stigma around it because most people go to psychiatrists out there. But it's definitely a culture thing. I'm sure the Midwest is not as common. Where I'm from in Sweden, it still has a little bit of a stigma. Like, oh, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Is that where you have to go? So I hope that it's more coming with the generations, that it's different than generations prior, or even some of my close family members don't believe in therapy. But I think it's way more accepted here as a culture than some others.
Yeah, I
I
think.
mean, the Brits, they have their stiff upper lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes both ways. I've seen it extreme onto you do this, and if they'll come up to you and say, oh, something's wrong with you.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have it all.
So
I think we have
where you live in the United States. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, but
hopefully it's going in the right direction and people understanding that, working on. And I think it also is getting way more airtime in mainstream media. I mean, I like the Today Show that I like to watch. They talk about mental health a lot and things to do. So I think it's great that it really is being destigmatized.
Yes. So really quick, since it is Suicide Awareness Month, actually the suicide rate is actually super high these days. I'll get the statistics to tell you exactly on the newsletter, but it's actually really, unfortunately, super high.
Yeah.
So next one is healthy boundaries. Man, I could do a whole episode.
Sorry, but
I skipped one. Okay. Sorry. Evaluate. You know why? Because we talked about people.
Yeah.
Evaluate relationships. And this is something that Christina knows. And those of you that know me, I've become very fond of doing this. Is no matter who the person is, mother, father, grandma, aunt, sister, cousin, whatever, if they are toxic, it is okay for you to let go. Now, you can choose. Now, the word evaluate your relationship, it means that you can evaluate how much time you want to spend with them or what you choose. But evaluating them is really, for years, people would tell me, gosh, how could you not talk to them? And I'm like, it's really easy for me. That's something I did, maybe because I just had enough. But I wish people would really, know
and you know that you have relationships in your life that really stresses you out or really brings you down. And you have those energy suckers or energy vampires in your life that that you almost have to brace yourself getting together with them or talking to them on the phone because, oh my God, this is going to be draining. I'm going to hear all about her or his issues, and it's going to bring me down. And afterwards, I'm going to feel so much worse. Then maybe that's a person that should not take up as much part of your life as they do. And it really, it's important for your own. Again, it's a form of self-care. To avoid those. And I think I've gotten a lot better with age on that too. To just kind of exclude myself, or you don't have to be so drastic and say, I'm not talking to you anymore. That's okay. You just face it out and you just naturally
I've learned a lot about Christina throughout the years. We're two different individuals, but it's been interesting, especially in the concept of mental health. Once we started talking more about it, it's different, and it's kind of nice to see how everything has been growing. So with that, I guess with relationships, you kind of mentioned it, is that energy comes the next one, which is boundaries. And Christina has always been a person I look up to as far as boundaries, because she's very, I don't want to say cut and dry, but you're very, very firm when you just say no. You're very, but for you, it doesn't seem like, okay, so if you're not watching this on YouTube, you have to watch this, because even when I said it,
I would say no.
Her expression was like, there's no other way to be. But if you're someone that has been involved with trauma, boundaries are something you do not set very well. And if you're someone that's trying to set boundaries where you didn't have them, you're going to have a lot of pushback. Especially if you've been in a relationship with someone for a really long time and say, oh, well, you know what? As of today, I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore. And they're going to be like, yeah, okay. Since when? And you have to say, since right now. So boundaries is and with everything, with work, friends. I know we talked about conversations we have with our friends, we have friends that like talk and talk and talk and talk, and sometimes forget to just ask
Yeah.
how you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how I'm not saying me or you to point anything.
You know everything about them, but they really know nothing about what's going on with you because they never ask.
And it's so, and it makes you feel like you're not important. You know, like they don't care, and it's like, well, wait.
No, you feel like that. Hey, you should pay me because I'm now your therapist, and you just overshared and gave me all your issues, but I didn't get to
that dump. Yeah. That's okay. So that is exactly what I'm talking about. That dump, and it's now. I'm assuming you're really very good at not absorbing.
I am. I'm not. I'm very good at compartmentalize too, so I can. Yes, I am.
I am not. So for me, when people do that to me, it takes a lot of work for me to say, okay, I'm gonna help you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a mental health kind of battle that or my own little thing I have to work on. But it's interesting when you talk to people that you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Which is my next one. Mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, that's one that I need to start.
Do you meditate?
No, never have.
Okay.
I always say I run or walk.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to meditate.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to be open-minded to that.
And you can start off with like 30 seconds.
I think I could squeeze 30 seconds.
And then you just kind of move. And it doesn't have to be, you know, crazy legs crossed in the sand.
You know, I heard a podcast that they said you should be comfortable when you meditate. Sitting in a cross-legged position with your fingers up, that's called the monk meditation. And that's not meant for regular people. That's just for the monks.
It drives me crazy. So just holding stuff. No, just thinking about it.
Yeah,
gives me stress. So that's my goal. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Positive self-talk.
I'm so good.
You are better at that than I am.
I don't think I'm that good at that.
What?
No.
You got this right. You know what? I learned that in a Swedish show.
Yeah.
But it's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing, yes.
Okay.
We're not allowed to say good things about ourselves. That's not considered
up until now. So is that something that you've taken?
I just think it's seen as a narcissistic and self-absorbed if you keep tooting your own horn too much. I'm sure with generations that's being loosened up as well. But I remember, I mean, still, we're very kind of, oh no, I'm okay. I'm not that good. I'm just okay.
So now, do you notice that it is okay to toot your own horn?
I think I've gotten more Americanized. No, I do think, and especially when you really, when it's accomplishments that are really that you're proud of, that you've worked hard for. But I'm not the best at it at all.
Okay,
I'm getting there.
I love that you said that because I will work on my sleep and you will work on
on my positive self-talk.
Yes, on your
okay.
That's
a deal. And meditation. I have two things I need to work on now.
Okay, and the next one is regular physical activity.
Oh yeah, that's just ties in with everything we talked about over the last 2 weeks.
So exercise releases endorphins.
Yes.
And one of the key things with endorphins is that if you are someone that is dealing with an addiction, it is based on the release of endorphins on anything, any mental health thing that you do repeatedly. There's always a endorphins and dopamine. Those are the two key things that are released when you do something that you think feels really good or it's covering something else.
Yeah.
So if exercise causes the same thing, that's probably a better option to do.
Yes.
than something negative. And it all takes time, little by little.
Yeah.
But I found this when I was doing my research, almost everything had those two keywords.
But that's what, they call it the runner's high, or the workout effect. That's all about that.
Yeah. So I thought I was like, oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, working out is better than doing drugs.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there, kids.
Yes. But it's just, well, this too, before I move forward, is those release of those two things.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting how your body.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example on what I mean on how mental health and trauma acts. It doesn't matter what the trauma was,
mm-hmm.
your body chemically acts the same way.
Yeah.
So sometimes your son going to college
mm-hmm.
is going to activate someone else's getting into a car accident. Mm-hmm. Even though there's two different things that happen,
mm-hmm.
the act physiologically activates the same thing, which is why those two are so key.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Endorphins and dopamine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So next one is stress management. So we talked about breathing, meditation, and journaling.
Yeah.
A lot of people journal with grateful things that they've had. And I want you to try to practice journaling things you've overcome. So that's something new.
I like that angle. It's just, gratefulness is good, but that's working on that positive self-talk.
Yes. I'm so glad you like it. Yeah. Makes me happy when she likes something.
Hey, I'm not that hard to please.
Well, next one. Please, Christina. I'm just kidding. All right. So next one is practice gratitude. Gratitude is a form of an internal gratefulness. It's not thank you. It's really thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't show a lot of gratitude towards ourselves. We're always very, very hard on ourselves, which is the positive talk to it.
Yeah.
So how do you overall look at things? When someone does something for you, when you see something, do you say thank you?
Yes.
Or do you think they know that you're grateful?
No, I always say thank you.
Okay. Everybody, even outside?
Oh, yeah. That's super important.
So
I like to correct kids that come to our house and don't say thank you. And the magic word would be please and thank you. Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is really important. So obviously.
Yeah. No, that was from childhood. You gotta.
So you know what's funny? So you say the magic word is please and thank you. Mm-hmm. I say, oh, you're welcome.
Uh-huh.
So I cue my response.
Oh.
So it's funny. Mm-hmm. I cue the response that I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. I say what I would respond for them if they would have said, thank you.
No, tell them they need to say it.
Oh, this one's great. Limit technology and screen time.
Yeah.
So one of the research that I saw under this was when people wake up in the morning, they look at their phone.
Yeah.
And they scroll through social media. And
that makes us depressed right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do it before they go to bed.
Yeah.
So they wake up depressed and sad, and they go to bed.
It's because we compare ourselves and we see what everyone else is doing, and
So therefore,
and also I think not just social media. I think too sometimes just reading emails right away, because it might be a client who, I need this now, or it's something you got in the, email from someone that's not positive. That puts the whole day on.
Yes, ma'am. Love it. Yeah. Okay. So engage in learning, and if you're not growing, you're what?
You're dying.
So learning
everyone
new
who's
things.
Listened to this podcast has heard me say that many times.
That's why I figured I'd cue you. So reading is great. I know listening to podcasts.
But since you're already listening, you're in the right. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Doing
it. And learning new things or a new skill or workshops.
Yeah.
So something to do with your hands. Usually it's movement and thinking at the same time.
Yeah.
There's always a trick to.
That's also because your ability to actually absorb what you're learning increases if you move at the same time.
See,
your retention of the information given is large. That's why it's so good to walk and listen to something. Or I have actually done digital courses online, even though you're supposed to watch, but a lot of times you can just listen and then you can go back and watch if you need to see any slides. But I've done entire courses where I've walked with them.
Oh. I'm gonna try that because I'm not an avid reader. Mm-hmm. I'm very far from that. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I've learned how to do a lot of audible books.
Yeah,
so
which is great.
Great. So we're getting close to the last few. So regularly review and adjust, which is what I kind of talked about in the beginning, is know that nothing's a quick fix.
Yeah.
And do not be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And understand that this process, when you begin to make the change to mental health, mm-hmm. or to get better, to feel better, whatever it is. I mean, you don't have to be nearly as mentally unstable as me. You know?
Okay.
But, you know.
There you have it, folks.
There you have it.
Ingrid said it herself.
Why not? You know, there's always something going on. But whatever it is, just check yourself, say, you know what, today's a great day, and just take it.
Yeah, it's like the GPS. If you take a wrong turn, you just what does it say?
A detour.
No, it says recalculating your route.
So now you know. There you have it. Yeah. But you love me just as I am.
I do.
So, but I'm getting better. All jokes aside, just be aware. And, you know, let's say you start doing yoga, mm-hmm. and you hate it. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't make you feel happy, don't do it.
Yeah.
Meditation, I'll have her do a minute. If she doesn't like it, she won't do it again. You know,
I might do it a few times just to see if it sticks.
Yeah. But don't do something that causes more stress.
No.
Even if it helps somebody else. Just say, you know what, it's not working. Let's leave it alone.
No, it's important. It's an ongoing. You gotta take care of that beautiful brain of yours. Or we all need to take care of our.
And last but not least, and this is something that I think Christina can benefit from, is celebrate your progress.
Oh, it's one of those two: positive self-talk and celebrate. Yes, that's another one I'm not very good at. Yes, that's true.
Positive changes, you know, just it's all just, it comes back to you. Mm-hmm. You know, everything. You know, your children. You know, we teach them certain things, and everything comes back to you. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
You know, no matter when something happens or when someone does something to you, it's more or less your actions are not really going to cause me to act any different than what I want it to.
Yeah.
So if somebody's mean to you or, you know, cuts you off, they cut you off.
Yeah.
Somebody will be really pissed, but then you're really pissed.
Yeah.
So you can choose to that person.
Yeah.
And it's when you understand that power that you have, everything becomes so much easier. So
no, that's true.
Do you have any questions? Comments, concerns?
No, I think it's all good stuff, and the things we need to pay attention to.
Okay,
work on, and I think too with the kids. I think they're, especially kids, you know, gone to school during the pandemic, all that. We've seen. That's why the suicide rates are up, because there were a lot of kids that got lonely and isolated. And I think really keeping an eye on how they're doing.
An open dialect.
Because I mean, someone like me who gets very kind of just bulldozes on. It's like I really don't. I doesn't absorb. I don't absorb a lot of that kind of.
That's okay. Because then she has Ingrid.
But,
because
Ingrid, no, but even though I don't do it, doesn't mean my kids won't. Yeah. So sometimes you think your kids are going to be just like, and I guess it goes both ways. If you're someone who is more mentally or mentally aware, then just checking in to make sure kids what they need. Because they are, even though we like them to be replicas of us, they're not. But I'm really checking in with the kids to see how they're doing.
I maybe don't want that for mine.
Oh, no, you do.
No, but one thing that came to mind when you said that is having the time to, when someone says something to you, to give yourself a few seconds to actually be able to answer a question.
Yeah.
Is to repeat what they just asked you.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just kind of saying, so what you're saying is,
yeah.
And it gives you enough seconds in your brain to not react.
Yeah.
So that's something that I learned.
And when people go through life stages, to check in with each other more often. I mean, knowing that we've talked about college bounds, but that's a whole new part of life for a young adult that we think they might be ready for, but maybe not. So
your check-ins with him might be a little different now.
Yeah. Yeah, it might not just be, so how you doing? What do we have to do now? What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. I love that. So I wanted to share a couple of books that have really either been eye-opening or something that I've used in the groups that we have. And I'll post a little link. It's one of them is What Happened to You. It's Bruce D. Perry, and on the Audible, Oprah Winfrey is also on it. And it talks about something that is very easily said when you deal with someone. It's when you do something, people automatically say what's wrong with you.
Oh, okay.
It's actually what happened to you that causes the effect. Which I've actually have read it, listened to it probably 6 times.
Wow.
And every single time I listen to it, I catch something different. It's not very long. Another one is Mother Hunger.
I've heard you talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that one is, I've read that.
That was on your favorite things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to it just yet, this is a reminder to get it. And on YouTube, I've been listening to or seeing whenever I can Academy of Ideas, and it's through Carl Jung.
Okay.
Jung.
Yep.
He talks a lot about the self as a person and the subconsciousness of a human being, which you can get really kind of just caught on to the video. And when you hear something, you're like, oh, no wonder this person does this. And
I love that. When
you get a lot of aha moments, and you realize you have so much more control over how you feel, act, and see things than you ever thought. So that is what I'm going to leave you.
Well, that gives us all hope, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I'd like to end on a positive note. That's right.
Yeah, I did not want to be so depressing. But no, but
it's just, and that's the thing too with mental health. We can't, in order for it to be destigmatized, it cannot just be correlated or thought of as a depressing thing. It should be a well-being thing like everything else. How's your mental health? How's your physical health? It all.
I like to think that my friends feel like I do care. I check in with my friends, and sometimes I won't call, but I like to purposely check on them. Say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Or how are you doing today? Yeah. And because it's just you just never know. And one thing is too, a lot of people have trouble is releasing their trauma or stress,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like if they don't have it, that it's not them. So they identify themselves.
Yeah, we talked about
Yes.
that with the PTSD too.
Yeah, it's the
Holding
same thing.
on to, if you didn't catch that episode, go back. It was an earlier episode when we talked about PTSD. But it's, yes, you identify so much with it. It becomes,
When you don't have it.
Hard to release it.
So with that,
Yes.
I am so happy I got to do this. I love this. And
this is great.
so when you listen to this, let us know if you do meditation, or what do you do
what do you do for your mental health? What are your,
besides
please
chocolate
let us
ice cream?
know. Yeah, because we know now that that's not a good thing to do.
So Christina, this is fun, like always.
Like always. Aren't we lucky that we get to do this?
And we're continuing our water.
And our water is continuing.
What is it? What is it? Up to next time? No.
Until next time.
Until next
or
time.
Up till next time. Who knows?
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.